Strange State Productions presents Into the Unknown.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this first. No, not first.
We
This
could
would
technically
be-
call it a first, pretty much.
Yeah. This is probably this is the second episode. Well, it's a reboot, right?
Pretty much.
This is the second episode, technically, of Into the Unknown.
But we'll say it's the first. Episode 1, we'll just say it's the first.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
Well, okay, yeah. That first one, that other one we recorded, that's still going to be up on this channel, but that's just a completely different thing, kind
Yeah,
of.
pretty much.
Just ignore that one, even
Yeah.
though I've gotten good compliments. People say
Yeah,
they
we
really
talked
like-
about random stuff in there. I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah, we didn't really. I don't remember either.
It was fun.
but I
remember
listen
was
to
fun.
it sometimes just because I like listening to it.
I remember I listened to it a couple times too, but I forgot.
Which is kind of a
We probably talked about like some classified information in there. Who knows? You know,
oh, for sure.
we're being hunted by the government as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Welcome to-
is
this is
Into the Unknown.
Into the unknown.
Strange Cast, a spin-off of Strange Cast, if you will. Strange Cast is another show I did, but we haven't done anything with that since. Well, yeah, we tried, but you know how things go. People get busy and stuff.
That's what
happened with me and Sabas here.
That's what
We've
Floyd
been
says.
busy.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I totally haven't given up on this channel, not yet.
You're busy. He's like, you know what? How do I come up with something on the whim? You know, he's like, here, let's make a podcast.
This was your idea.
This was
buddy.
my
You
idea.
wanted
Actually,
to
I'm just throwing all the shade to you. I'm trying to take some of the heat off of you.
Okay, so let me just do some housekeeping and thank Sabas for kind of giving new life to this channel.
For
Because
once.
if it weren't for him, this wouldn't be up right now. I wanted this channel to die, kinda.
Damn, I should have let it stay buried. Sorry.
You should have, yeah.
Yeah.
But
like the redhead stepchild. You're like,
I
yeah.
gotta give him this. He's giving me inspiration to want to do things again.
Mhm.
So
I got a compliment. I don't know what to do with my life.
also, don't mind us. We're drinking a beer.
Both of us, yeah. In celebration of this
The return.
first episode, yeah, the return.
This first episode and the return of Strange State Productions as well.
As we can make a return, yeah. And this is gonna be a fun little project for us.
Yeah,
See how things go.
we're testing out new mics and stuff. Hopefully they sound good.
Hopefully, and hopefully, if things go good and we keep them going along, we can, probably indulge in more like better equipment too. You know,
Yeah, true.
who knows? You could probably see our faces one day
Oh yeah, you never know.
on the FBI watch list.
Also, first off, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Floyd Atencio,
I'm Sabas Hassa.
and we're here today to bring you stories of the unknown, the creepy, the unusual, the macabre, everything unusual. I said unusual twice.
You did say
That's
unusual.
kind of a
From whatever
mistake.
lurks to your basement, to underneath your bed, to inside of your coffee cup, we are here to talk about what goes on.
Mhm.
Bump in the night. But
Um,
we can indulge in anything as well too.
Yeah,
Funny things as well.
yeah,
but-
true.
The main thing is the weird. 'Cause we've always liked the weird, macabre subjects.
Macabre. I like that
Macabre,
word.
macabre.
It's weird how it's spelled, huh? It's
Macabre.
Macabre. It's almost like it should be macabre or something.
Macabre. Every time
Macabre.
when I think of macabre, like I think of like
Macaque.
Mick. I think of McCobb, like a corn on the cob of like a McDonald's.
A
logo.
McDonald's corn.
A McDonald's corn on the cob.
Would you eat the McDonald's corn on the cob?
Would you eat the McDonald's cob, dude? This is a serious question.
You know, it would be a good advertising campaign for the McCob.
what
If
would
it
it be?
were just Ronald McDonald like laying on the ground,
What would it be?
holding a corn on the cob close to his crotch.
Please stop. Please stop.
And then it's multicolored because he's a clown and
I
it's
don't
McDonald's.
like
You gotta make it
this.
fun.
I don't like this.
So what?
It's a clown.
You
It's-
wanted to do a show with me. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, no, that is true. I was kind of asking for it, right? Here's the thing about Floyd. You can tell he's truthful.
Yeah, man.
Unless you tell him what happened in 1939, then he will not tell you what happened then. But
1939. Nothing happened in
Yeah,
1939.
exactly. You know what you did.
Oh no, I didn't do anything wrong in 1939.
You know exactly.
I didn't do anything wrong in 1939.
Okay. Well, anywho,
Shit.
with Floyd's very strange past,
Strange. I've got a fantastic past.
I think we all do in a way, don't we?
No, it's not fantastic. It's pretty scary.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Ever tell you about my history with rock biters?
No.
Well, rock biters, I don't know if you've heard about rock
I
biters.
have
They're
not.
a mythological creature that roam mountains and mesas primarily.
Meth heads?
No. I mean, that's a term for a druggie, like someone who bites into crack rocks and stuff like that. But still. But rock biters are giant beasts made out of stone who roam mountains and mesas. You can ask my very good friend Moth Meek, who does a lot of stuff on this channel too. He's ran into rock biters.
Rock
here and
biters,
there.
huh?
They're kind of an urban legend around here in New Mexico.
Is that so?
Yeah.
And what are these rock biters? What do they look like?
So they're just giant, like humanoid creatures that look like humans.
So humans,
but they're made out of rocks.
Ah, okay.
And they eat rocks, which is kind of weird. Well, I guess it's not that weird because we're made out of meat and we eat
The
meat.
image that I got in my head. Remember Korg from like
Yeah,
Thor Ragnarok?
It's kind of like
It's
Korg.
exactly it's Korg.
It's kind of like Korg. But next time you're on your phone on the beautiful World Wide Web, look up rock biter and you'll see what they are. You'll see exactly what they are.
What about Rocky smoking, my friend?
The good kind, buddy.
Ever heard of crack?
I got these crack rocks.
I got these crack rocks and want them. Now, is this an actual urban legend, or is this more along the lines of what we like to call gaslighting?
This is a mix of a legend and a gaslight.
Is it so?
Yeah.
And what will be the mixture?
What was it?
Like, what will be like that, like, truth? What is the truth in that, if there is any?
There's a little bit of truth.
And what may that be? Or what's the story? What's the story?
Sorry.
Did you get possessed by the rock biter for a second, or what happened?
They don't possess people; they eat rocks.
Look, what happened there?
I was just looking at the wave font to see if the sound was recording okay.
Okay, you're just looking at yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. What were we on? Rock biters?
We're on rock biters, dude. I don't know.
Did you bring that up?
You
that's
did.
all fake news and stuff.
That's you. You brought that up.
Who are you with? Are you with CNN, Fox?
CIA, actually. Yeah, we got a bunch of information on you, dude. We can lock you away forever.
I know that.
This is just very, very fun. So in the meantime, we're not going to shoot you just yet.
Well, we're not in New York, or what was it? We're not in Dallas.
We're not in Dallas.
And my name isn't Kennedy, so.
Yeah, well, my presidential campaign is going to go on in Dallas. Did you know that?
Your presidential campaign?
Yeah, when I become president.
Ah. That's weird. I got something going on in the book depository.
What may that be?
I just got to be up there while a certain someone drives past me.
Oh, gosh. Is this a threat?
Okay, quick question. This is like real shit.
Okay. Man, this went on a tangent. Like, I forgot we're on the podcast for a second.
I know. Oh, well, all in good time.
Wait, this is a podcast?
I know. Right? All in good time, dude. This is just the opening riff and shit.
This is the opening riff. Yeah, this is kind of like getting all the kinks out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I have a serious question about the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, what about the Kennedys?
So I hear two different things. People tell me he was on... he was either in the book Lee Harvey Oswald. He was in either the book depository or a grassy knoll, like a grassy hill. Like, what was it? What do you think? What do you know? How do you think it all went down?
I don't know.
Like, I'm trying to get at where was Oswald sitting when he took the shot?
Wasn't it from like an elevated position in the building?
The book depository.
I believe that's what it was, right?
Yeah. That's what I always thought.
I watched a video not long ago about the Kennedy assassination. It's very strange. Did you know that Truman, Vice President
Truman?
Vice President Truman, right? You know, he was sworn in immediately when he heard about.
Sorry, I'm a little iffy on American history sometimes. Are you talking about President Truman from World War II or
Is that
a
him,
different
or-
person?
I don't know.
Or no, Vice President Truman.
I think
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
And that was like, damn, I'm getting confused now.
I know.
I could be probably getting information wrong.
That's just how I work. I just
Comments. If I'm getting stuff wrong, please call me out.
Oh yeah, I'm down for fact checking and stuff.
Oh yes, please.
Please.
I believe when he was sworn in immediately after what happened to Kennedy, he believed that it was a conspiracy. He did stated that he believed it was a conspiracy, but he believed that it was actually Cuba.
Oh really?
That launched some sort of like operation, like an assassination on.
Well, that was
Kennedy.
all during like
because
the Cuban Missile Crisis.
The CIA was doing a bunch of like spec ops stuff in Cuba. A bunch of like stuff that they don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like he actually believed it was a conspiracy, but he believed that it was Cubans that may have orchestrated the assassination.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's way too shady. Especially the fact that he was, like
you can't really trust anything. Dude.
Yeah, but especially with John F. Kennedy trying to like shut down like the CIA.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then like a bunch of people who are taking lead investigation of the assassination or from the CIA, the people that hated Kennedy. There's a lot of things in there that is just it's too much of a coincidence to be like, oh, nothing happened,
Yeah. What's your personal opinion on Kennedy? What do you think of him?
I, for one, believe that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. There is no such thing as a conspiracy. And whatever anybody tells you is a damn liar. You should report them to your local FBI agent. This is not sponsored by the CIA in any sort of way at all.
Oh no, Sebastian.
You better be saying it. You better be saying your information correctly. Okay, we don't want any crazy people out there spreading rumors. We can't have
well, I'm one of the crazy people who spreads rumors and stuff. So, yeah.
Also, that was just completely joking. I believe that there is some sort of conspiracy behind the assassination. It seems way too shady.
Yeah,
especially like autopsy reports and stuff like that. Just things that don't make sense. In the with the whole story, with the whole thing that happened, there's just a few things that don't make any sense. Things that line up too weirdly. And it's like, okay, it's weird if who knows? The truth could be it could have been Lee Harvey Oswald who did it.
Oh, for sure.
But it's like, even like if that's like actual factual truth that he was the one who committed it, there's way too much things that line up weirdly. Way too many facts, way too many things that happen with the CIA, directors of CIA and FBI, way too many shady things that have happened during the investigation alone where it's like, okay, that's weird,
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, I genuinely believe that it was some sort of conspiracy against Kennedy.
Yeah. I don't know. There's always a conspiracy with every big historical event that occurs,
Yeah, something always goes on, right?
Look at the John Lennon assassination.
Okay.
I
heard a few about that, but I'm not too well versed in that. Can you explain?
So John Lennon, as you know, as most people know, former Beatle musician, and he was a big activist.
He's a Beatle?
He was a Beatle,
like one of those little bugs that I squash.
Oh yeah,
like on the fucking pavement, like he just was.
So John Lennon, he was a big peace activist. He was anti-religion, anti-border, anti-violence, anti-war, everything. Like, not what you would call a capitalist, like maybe a socialist, I would say. Almost, maybe extremist socialist. But anyway, like,
but when it comes to John Lennon, like, I do not have a lot of.
He had big pull. Like a lot of the Beatles in general had huge pull with like people.
Yeah, of course they did.
With me especially. So he would protest the war and stuff. I forget who's the president at the time, but people speculate that the government had him killed because he had such a big following that he could actually convince enough people to go against like war, capitalism, anti-borders, and that sort of thing, that they had him assassinated because of that. Now,
kind of like a Charles Manson situation.
Kind of, yeah. At face value, you would say like, oh, some crazy guy shot him outside of his apartment, but who knows? You never know. Maybe the government had him killed and stuff.
Me.
This is the conspiracy episode now, I guess.
This definitely took a turn.
Yeah.
But actually, just just to kind of
We gotta come up with a
say it right here, right now. That was me who did it. I
shot Lennon.
Yeah,
you weren't alive at that time.
Completely on accident.
Unless you're telling me something, unless you have something to tell me that you haven't told me in a while. You know.
I mean, I'm part of the CIA.
Oh yeah, that's true. So
we have anti-aging technology. So
anti-aging technology. That's rich. I mean, I guess we kind of do have that, right?
I don't know, maybe.
With like CGI and stuff, though. Look what they did to Mark Hamill on The Mandalorian. They made a Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
It's creepy stuff.
That is creepy. It's like uncanny.
It just looks unnatural.
Yeah, it looks unnatural. It's like he looks normal.
It's
like, but there's something off about it.
They somehow found a way to make his voice sound like it did like in the 80s when they made those original movies.
It's an AI voice.
It is an AI for sure, but like.
Comments, do you think that we're being controlled by AI right now?
By AI?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, I'm like
the Matrix?
No, like the recording of this podcast. It's just AI that we did. We're just too lazy to record.
I don't think there's enough footage of us for an AI to compile
you don't know that.
A recording such as this.
I've been recording our conversations over the years. At this exact moment.
That'd be pretty plausible then.
The Terminators are coming. You just have to
Skynet.
You have to be ready.
Sabas and I are working on a secret project called Skynet. I don't know if it'll take off or anything.
Yeah, we'll probably not. My AI is pretty cool, but it's kind of lame. People saying world domination and all that. Launch the nukes.
Well, Sabas has like crazy. He's been working on some crazy stuff. He's like a software engineer and stuff, and he's been making up some crazy AI things, and it's pretty impressive. Like,
I'm also an astronaut.
Huh?
I'm also an astronaut. You know that?
He's also an astronaut. His name is Neil. His real name is Neil Jr. But for some reason, he's related to the real Neil Armstrong. But for some reason, he looks more ethnic than the real Neil Armstrong.
What are you trying to say?
Huh? Nothing.
What are you trying to say? Racist? I'm better.
I'm stronger.
I'm stronger. I've never been more alive.
I'm better. I'm stronger.
I'm stronger. I'm faster.
All right, we're going on a tangent, man.
We definitely are.
But it's fun. It's a good tangent.
Actually, just real quick, on another episode, we will have to talk about the moon landing too.
Oh yeah,
the moon landing. We'll have to talk about that.
I know.
We'll do an episode of conspiracies.
Popular
and unpopular.
This is just us rambling, waxing lyrically on things that entertain us and stuff. What was I going to say? Jesus Christ, dude! You really had to cough like that.
Sorry. Allergies.
Oh yeah, it is allergy season.
Allergy season.
People get your allergy shots.
It's either that or all the asbestos in my lungs.
People get your allergy shots so the government can put microchips in you and stuff.
I got 30 in me already.
I've got quite a few microchips.
I'll tell you one thing. I feel like a damn
G.
I feel like a damn G. I feel like a G, and I feel like 5G. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just radiation coming out of my pores.
Have you ever read a conspiracy theory that has made you cry?
No.
No?
Why? Why would one make me cry?
Well, speaking of crying, let's talk about La Llorona.
This episode is brought to you by no.
That was the most tacked on segue I've ever done.
That is a very, very
tacked on segue. So people, let's talk about La Llorona.
La Llorona, the weeping woman.
It's a big thing here in New Mexico.
But also
it
originated Old Mexico.
It originated in Mexico. But it's pretty big here too, because I'll talk to my dad, my mom, whatever, and they'll say something like, well, the Llorona is what our parents used to scare us to behaving. Like, so my grandparents would tell my parents, you better behave or else the Llorona would get you. And Sabas, why don't you tell us a little more about La Llorona?
La Llorona, the weeping woman.
Yep.
I believe. There's a lot of, I guess, superstition when it comes to the story itself. What would the part of the main story be? Would it be that? Well, the most common story that I heard of La Llorona was...
tell what it is, and then we'll go into the backstory.
Yeah, that is true. It's essentially the spirit of a woman who is often heard crying around like lakes and rivers and ponds in the dead of night.
Yeah.
Crying out to her children, she's saying, "Where's my children?" She's screaming and she's crying.
Mm.
And for like a long time, even when I was a kid, I remember hearing stories about La Llorona. You know, and with like Hispanic culture, like with Mexican culture, it is quite of a big one. That's one that I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
About, and
it's a huge thing in
yeah.
New Mexican culture too.
I didn't know that until actually moving here, but I have heard about this story.
We kind of took it and used it, and we kind of claim it as our own. I think.
Yeah, New Mexico. It's New Mexico, but there's nothing new about it.
That's a fair point, except for chili.
Yeah, that's true. You got some good chili. Dude, I had a green chili double cheeseburger from McDonald's today. It was awesome.
McDonald's?
Yeah.
McDonald's makes a good ass green chili cheeseburger.
They do. It's pretty good. And it's weird when you actually don't think about it. Oh, green chili on McDonald's burger?
So I love
fire.
Green chili cheeseburger is like my favorite food of all time, but McDonald's, they make it spot like you want it real like a genuine green chili cheeseburger is like next level. But if you want like something that's real quick and easy, go to McDonald's, get a green chili cheeseburger.
Very
it's the
true.
best.
Very
one
true.
of the best.
So go get yourself a green chili double cheeseburger.
This is an ad for McDonald's.
Unless you don't live in New Mexico, and my word is don't come here. But so La Llorona, yeah, it's like a spectral woman, a ghost, crying out through and screaming. One thing that freaks me out would be like the screaming. That's something that I always found scary as a kid. Like,
well, it's not really screaming; it's more weeping, right?
Yeah, well, she's heard weeping and screaming.
Screaming too.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But it's like like hearing like weeping and crying and screaming is pretty scary.
It is. Yeah.
It's sad.
It is.
Depending on the context too. But let's say you're just out in the middle of the woods and you hear a scream. What are you gonna do? Shit your pants, I'm assuming, right?
I would definitely would. Yeah.
I'll probably cry. Probably not. I would cry.
I'm about to cry.
I'm about to cry now. If I was La Llorona hearing this podcast, I would probably be crying too.
Oh, let's make this whole podcast a diss against La Llorona.
No, yeah, we should. Yeah.
Okay.
What a loser, right?
So the whole thing with La Llorona is like she's heard near ditches, rivers, bodies of waters, really.
At night, yeah.
At night mostly. You hear a woman weeping near a ditch or a river or something. They say it's likely to be Llorona. Mm-hmm. What was her original name, I wonder? The whole thing
is the legend. I think they do have the original name, but I can't.
Yeah,
off the top of my head right now.
But she is a spirit that wanders around these types of places, looking for her children, and that's all because of like who she was in her life. Supposedly, the story is like when she was alive, she would drown her children. She drowned her children at one point. I said she would drown her children as if she did that quite frequently. But she drowned her children. I don't know why. Do you know why?
From the most common thing that I heard from the stories was that she drowned her children in the river. One was because out of jealousy of her new husband showing more affection to her kids than her. Another one was that she did it in a fit of rage to her unfaithful husband. Those two common stories that I heard.
Okay.
Apparently, she was so overwhelmed by grief and regret of what she did immediately after that she flung herself into the river and drowned herself.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, essentially,
and that's why she's heard screaming out, "Where are my children?"
Yeah,
crying for her kids.
She regretted what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like she drowned her children because of jealousy, and she died regretting it. Essentially, like, and her spirit still roams around lakes and not lakes, but rivers and ditches, whatnot, looking for her children. And what does she do if she catches you? Her spirit.
The most common thing I heard is that she kills you or something like that, takes you away.
Takes you with her.
I don't know the details on that.
Yeah. But that was a pretty common thing. Like, even, like, my parents weren't as abusive as their parents were towards them. Like, they would just... I never really my parents got scared with her a lot just to be tricked into behaving, but my parents never really my dad would tell me about her sometimes.
Do you think that La Llorona could just be like, for example, like the boogeyman? You know,
It is essentially a
essentially,
boogeyman.
like kind of like a story. Warn kids, hey, don't go in the quarry at night. You know, or don't go to the
Don't
rivers.
go to the river at
Don't
night.
go to the river. Yeah, watch out. You know,
That's essentially
it could
it.
be
I
just
think.
essentially like a tall tale just to warn kids. You know.
Yeah. Also, like the way my parents told me, like they said they would use that as a way to get them to behave too. Like my grandparents would say, "You better behave, or else the Llorona will come and get you." Like they would just use that as a tactic and
Just
stuff.
goes outside your window at night, and starts like banging on it and screaming. You know, like where are my children? It's like just to scare Floyd.
Where are my children? It's 3 a.m.
I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep. Damn it. You think she'll just leave you alone after that?
If I yelled at her?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're cold-hearted, you know that. Why would you yell at her?
I wouldn't yell at her.
You just said you would.
Well, at 3 a.m., yeah, I would.
Probably.
I would at 3 a.m.
You're
Because
heartless.
I got things to do in the morning.
You're heartless, you know that?
I'm heartless.
You're very heartless.
I've got the biggest heart
You know.
out of everyone.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I was gonna, like, in my head, like, Heartless by Kanye West started playing. You know,
How
like,
could you be so heartless?
That's you, dude. That's my song to you.
How could you be so Dr. Evil? He says Dr. Evil in
Dr.
that
Evil,
song.
right?
Reference to Austin Powers.
It really is that so?
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to that part.
Okay. Oh, great. That got us to a tangent.
And then,
Kanye. Man of culture, but a shitty person. And we'll leave it at that.
do you think he's a lizard person?
A reptilian?
A reptilian?
You know what's funny? That's a good little thing. I saw a video of like some creepy woman with like really sharp teeth. Just today, right before I came over here, I saw a video of a woman with like really sharp teeth and like weird eyes. And she was like, it looked like a homeless person with really sharp teeth. She was sitting on a street corner somewhere in a third world country. And she was like making like hissing noises and stuff. And I was like, what the heck is that? It looked real. It didn't look like CGI or something. Granted, it could be one of those AI videos that they are making AI videos now, and it's pretty creepy how realistic they look.
They are. Like deepfake videos and stuff like that, right?
No, it's not deepfake. Like, so a deepfake, like these videos are just like you type in a prompt and then it creates a video like the prompt you typed, like a completely new video from scratch. It takes videos from around the world and stuff and kind of creates something new, which is very creepy. But anyway,
I'm gonna use
this
a deepfake
woman
against you.
You should. This woman was sitting on a street corner, making like with her sharp teeth out and like moving her tongue around like a lizard. And I looked at the comments, and there was one comment that says, "This is a reptilian." It was like this crazy lady, and she said, "This is a reptilian. Reptilians are starting to come out into the open now because it's getting harder for them to find places to hide, so they're being forced to come out into the open, into society essentially." And I was just like, "Oh, this is just a crazy person rambling."
You sure that wasn't
right.
Mark Zuckerberg's mother?
Could be Mark Zuckerberg's brother. I mean, mother.
Mother from another brother.
Brother. Mother from another brother. It could be that. And
that alien conspiracy, or like that reptilian conspiracy, is wild.
It is. What do you think about that?
I generally don't believe it, but it's very, very weird.
It is, yeah.
There's conspiracies that I think are just enjoyable, and I think one of the reptilian ones are enjoyable. You know?
They're funny.
Yeah. What would we do if I ripped off my arm? It's just like scaly, like alien arm, reptilian arm.
I like the one where they say that Hillary Clinton is a reptilian.
That I'm more inclined to believe.
There's an image of Hillary Clinton looking into a mirror, and then in the reflection, it's just a lizard looking back at her. I'll put that up on here.
It's not even like a reptilian; it's just like a gecko.
Yeah, and the lizard just looks disappointed in her.
Oh no! Either that or stone out of his mind. I've seen like the way that they show the reptilians. Like the reptilians look stoned, dude.
Yeah.
What they're smoking.
So I don't think there are any reptilian stories here in New Mexico
controlling the government specifically.
But another big story that is big here in New Mexico that also originated from Mexico, fancy enough, was the chupacabra.
The chupacabra?
Yeah.
There have been sightings from here, especially like in southern Texas, from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, I think why these stories kind of like expand to out here is mostly because like New Mexico is close enough to Mexico where they can coincide
Well,
with
it's
each other.
touching Mexico.
It is touching Mexico. Yeah, I mean,
I've
look,
been to the border. I've seen it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this would all be one land if we didn't have borders, you know. So the chupacabra is a thing. It's a little. So there's different interpretations, not interpretations, but there's different
Variations.
ways, variations of how it
of
looks.
the description. The most common one from
But
like,
basically,
Mexico to Latin America the southern United States would be like a malformed dog thing.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like a malformed dog, or sometimes it's straight up like an alien looking.
In Puerto Rico, I've heard that they had sightings of a creature. Like it looks like an alien with spikes on its back.
Yeah,
and that's what they call the chupacabra.
For sure, yeah.
I've seen like the videos from like Mexico on like news stations. It's like a whole like pen of like chickens just slaughtered.
I've seen,
it's like no blood anywhere, and it's like that's very very weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that is pretty strange. What do you think about that legend?
Chupacabra?
Yeah,
I don't know. So it's my same thing with Bigfoot, which we'll touch on in the future. Excuse me. So I don't necessarily believe in a chupacabra because supposedly there has to be more than one, right? If the legend's been around for so many years and stuff, there has to be more than one in order for this whole thing to be, because it still keeps happening. People still find animals with like blood being sucked out and stuff.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Say something? Did you hear about the guy who poisoned like around his chicken coop and found some sort of strange dead dog?
I think so.
He had it analyzed, and it's like there's a whole documentary or like a video about it too. He had it analyzed.
Oh, really?
They're saying it's some sort of weird mix of like a coyote wolf thing. They don't exactly know what it is. It looks weird.
Yeah,
it genuinely looks weird.
I think
the legs are weird. It's hairless.
Mm-hmm.
The body just looks distorted. The teeth look very strange. They're canine, but they look very strange.
For sure,
like they look more like they bent kind of outward in a way.
Yeah,
and it's like it's really weird. I saw that. I watched the video. Like, that is very very strange.
Oh yeah.
If it was like an actual real thing and not like a prop that they did and kind of just for like a stunt,
mm-hmm.
I would say that's very very weird. And that could probably lead some sort of credence, if not the chupacabra, then something that is out there.
Yeah,
just killing animals.
For sure.
Hunting,
I don't know, but I was gonna say, if there was a group, or no, if this animal did exist, surely we would have found fossils of it by now. But just like you were saying, that guy had proof of something like that, so I guess there's some sort of credit, their credit where credit's due and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's it had to originate from somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but yeah. I don't even know what chupacabra translates to. Bloodsucker?
Goat sucker.
Goat sucker.
That's what it translates.
Okay. So anyways, yes, chupacabra is a big thing here in New Mexico, especially in Mexico. And it's something you've heard of before.
Yeah.
Same. You might have heard of Llorona before, but I don't know. I don't know which you've listened.
Now, let me go into a bit of a subject of one.
Okay.
I don't know if it's very, very well talked about here in New Mexico, but it definitely is in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it would in old Mexico, Mexico, and it'll be the legend of brujas.
Oh, that's a pretty big thing.
Witches.
Pretty big thing here too.
But lechuzas. La lechuza.
Oh. Yeah.
The bird witches. You heard about those legends, right?
Of course.
Those are freaky.
They are.
Those are definitely freaky.
So, brujas, that's a word for witch, pretty much. And that's a pretty big thing.
Like a witch or, shaman. A witch.
Witch, shaman, whatever. Pretty much, mostly witch, though. Bruja. Brujo. But brujas are pretty big in my family. my family kind of has history with that sort of thing. My dad's side of the family.
I would say on the same thing with my mom's side.
And I think
that's a story for another day, maybe.
I know, but I'll just say this. I think that's probably one of the main reasons, like, not main reason, but that's probably a reason why we connected more, because both of our families have had history with this sort of thing.
And very interesting when we talked about it for the first time, how we both looked at each other like, whoa.
Very similar.
Whoa.
Very similar type of history too. Very similar type of story and everything.
We'll condense it. I think we should make like an episode for like personal experiences between us, our families, and even the viewers. Hey, if you guys ever want to leave comments about things that you've experienced, leave it down below. If you want us to talk about it on the podcast, then let us know.
And don't just say like, "Oh yeah, my family's experienced a witch or something." Just write out your whole story in the comments, and we'll read it out. You know, please.
But Floyd also wants you to leave down your credit card info, the expiration date, and the
social security,
three-digit security code on the back specifically.
Please do.
Yeah, leave a tip for the podcast. 18%.
After you're done listening to this, there's going to be a little thing that comes up that says leave tip.
Tip? Money?
No, but I'll never charge for any of the content on here.
No.
That's because no one watches it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're watching this, then dear Lord, I feel bad for you.
I know, right? I think most of the people who watch this are just very good friends, and then friends of good friends and stuff.
Essentially, and family.
And family too.
So, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry.
I'll never tell my family what I do on here. So.
No. Yeah. I'm going to tell my family, definitely. They're definitely listen to this.
That's my problem. I don't tell anyone anything.
Say something vulgar.
Don't.
Okay, yeah, you crossed the line. You asshole. You crossed the line.
I tell you, one time, so we did, my friend Moth and I, we did an episode of Strange Cast where we talked about religion, and then it got deleted.
Really?
Yeah.
From YouTube?
Yeah, that was like the last thing that's been uploaded on here.
What happened?
I don't remember. We probably talked about some controversial things and stuff.
And then all of a sudden, it's deleted.
We probably said some offensive things, and granted, I was a different person at that time. And this is my apology video.
When was this? 2 weeks ago?
This is like a couple of years ago.
So is this one of those stereotypical YouTube apology videos? Is this what this whole podcast is about? Just you apologizing for being an ass?
So fucking sorry.
I don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth.
I'm so fucking sorry.
I don't believe you.
All right.
The council will decide your fate.
I am the council.
The Senate.
So the
nerd.
See, let's move on to the next thing.
Actually, no, hold on, real quick.
Oh, wait.
Going back to Brujas.
Oh, yes. We were on a whole different thing, and then we went on another
definitely.
tangent.
That legend is pretty...
You know you're good friends with someone when you go on tangents with them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, we do it all the time.
Exactly.
And it's funny. We'll do a tangent in the tangent. And it's like,
exactly.
By the end of it, we're like, where the hell did we start from? What were we talking about? I don't know. We're talking about McDonald's, thinking that we're talking about JFK and how he faked the moon landing.
And John Lennon.
And how John Lennon wanted JFK dead. But
John Lennon assassinated JFK.
I don't know how we got here. I was going to go back to Brujas real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Witches in witchcraft.
Speak your fucking piece and hurry up. We got time. We don't have time to fucking kill, dude.
Okay, well, how about you, like, not interrupt me? Okay. Like, don't be a piece of shit and let me talk.
I'm sorry. I'm just a bitter old man.
You're very, very old. Goodness, old people. I hate them.
Living longer.
You just die already.
When did you just fucking die already?
I'm sorry, Grandpa. But going real quick on back to Brujas, like Legends of Brujas, that's very, very strong here, especially in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico has a lot of superstition.
I think it's it's a big thing for Hispanics too, like Hispanic Americans. I mean,
like what do you mean?
Like my family and stuff. Like we believe in that stuff pretty heavily.
Oh yeah. I would say my family more experiences is because of personal experiences that they've had, you know.
Me too, yeah.
And I think that kind of speaks more volume because it's scary. And ever since I was a kid growing up, they told me experiences of witchcraft in the family, and I was like, that is horrific.
Let's talk about one thing. Like, this isn't the only shared experience we have with our families. There's another thing that I'd like to bring up, but like both Sabas and I have our families have seen red lights
In the woods.
in the woods,
In the woods.
in the fucking woods, in
Here's-
different parts of the world, mind you.
Well, actually, for me, my aunt was seeing strange balls of fire in the sky in the woods. She called them balls of fire.
Mhm.
And your grandmother seeing.
My grandmother has seen just like red lights, red balls of fire, like in the like. I don't know if she said it was in the ground or something. Red balls of light in the woods, with like she said she saw like she heard weird voices and stuff like that while that was happening too, while she saw the lights and stuff.
It was the government. Your grandma was a target.
It all comes back to the government.
Oh, definitely.
But anyways,
Love the government. I love the government.
they're always honest. Honest Abe.
But it's weird. Actually, let me go on a very, very, very quick tangent. Have you heard of the Naga fireballs? Apparently reported red balls of fire that are shoot out of the Mekong River.
Mm-mm.
I think it's somewhere in Asia. Search up Naga fireballs. There's videos of it. It's very strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot. Apparently, there'll be like hundreds of people reporting like balls of fire shooting out of the river.
Really?
Red balls of fire, and they call the Naga fireballs over there in that part, in that area specifically. There's a lot of talk about something called a Naga, which is like a Hydra dragon thing that shoots fire.
A Hydra dragon,
like a
like
Hydra.
in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
But
Dark Souls. I was wondering how long we'll talk without having a Dark Souls reference.
You know what's funny? When I said Dark Souls 1, I looked to the left as if there was a camera facing us.
This camera.
Maybe one day we'll have a camera on us, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
hopefully.
We'll see how
4K. We gotta support the channel. We'll get like a nice 4K camera going in.
Yeah,
Professionalism.
professionalism, baby.
This is pretty fun though.
I know.
If it doesn't hit off, it'll just be a fun thing to do.
You know what I think so far?
What?
This is coming off pretty natural.
Yeah, it is coming off natural. Not scripted, nothing.
No.
It's just natural.
Just too
Hold on, let me look at the script. This is what I say. Yeah, this is definitely natural. No script. Yeah, I think this is pretty authentic.
Hispanic families are generally very superstitious and whatnot towards brujas and that sort of thing.
Definitely.
And more than that, like
I would say there's superstition everywhere around the world, But us being of the Hispanic culture, being in particularly Hispanic families, there's always been a talk of superstition.
Oh yeah,
like brujas are just something, witches, and just supernatural things that have gone on. It's just things that I've grown up knowing about.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of superstition in Hispanic culture. There really is.
Anyways,
Native American legends. One thing that I've been wanting to talk about, because here in Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, a lot of Native American land, a lot of superstition.
Oh, for sure.
What are some things that you've heard about with Native American legends?
Native American legends? Well,
the most common one I would say
skinwalkers and
it would be
Wendigos.
Superstition behind. Well, I would hear that Wendigos are more of a.
They're more
northern
America.
We'll get into Wendigos in a bit, but I do want to mention the
kind of near Canada.
I will mention just the Skinwalker name real quick. A lot of people apparently like a lot of people do not like mentioning even the name of them.
Oh no.
It's like apparently it's forbidden to talk about in many places, and there's a lot of superstition. You don't talk about them. You don't say their name. You don't talk about them. I'm gonna go just real quick about them. That's probably the most common and probably one of the most frightening, let's say, legends of them. But I've heard apparently alleged stories of these beings, and they're horrifying. They're horrifying.
So supposedly with skinwalkers, they're like
we'll change their name because we know. I know some. I know some people are going to be listening to this.
We're only saying that just to get the name out, but we'll change it.
I know some people who do not like the name at all and will not even speak the name.
Yeah.
So we're going to call them brain eaters, skin stealers.
We'll call
jaywalkers, whatever you want to call them.
Just call them fucking. I don't know, shapeshifters or something.
Whatever we can call them, pretty much.
Yeah. So the thing is with these creatures is that they transform. They have to kill They're these creatures that kill things, and once they kill them, they turn into the things they
creatures that
killed.
kill things.
They can't be able to turn into anything. They have to kill something before they can
So let me tell you
transform
a story.
into it.
Let me tell you a story.
Wear their skin, essentially.
Let me tell you something, actually, real quick about the actual mythology of these beings.
Please educate me.
It starts off as a shaman, a witch doctor,
Okay, yeah.
a witch doctor, performing some sort of horrific act, a form of blood magic, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It could be killing someone extremely close to them, hurting someone, a betrayal of someone they closely admire or love, like backstabbing them or something like that. Not
For
necessarily killing, but a horrific action to someone very, very close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then grants you these abilities to shapeshift, to conjure, like in the spirit world, to shapeshift.
Yeah.
They gain these abilities, and the thing is that a lot of people, there's some like misconception. People say, "Oh, cannibalism to be a skinwalker," but that's more associated with Wendigos.
Yeah.
But with the skin stealers, it's more on. There's a lot more magic involved, and that people will apparently believe. People think, oh, it's like a werewolf thing. That's something that I've heard commonly. It's a werewolf thing.
Yeah.
Or it's a ghost thing.
Yeah.
But it's apparently it's a witch doctor performing with these abilities to transform into certain animals, mimicry, stuff like that, and that's like horrific,
Mm-hmm.
And it's here, especially here. There's just a lot of talk about it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of talk. People. I've heard stories of people going in the woods and hearing like family members call to them, and it's like, oh, that's not my family. They're halfway across the states,
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, remember Mr. class?
We'll have to censor his name, but still.
Well, censor his name. Do you remember? I'm gonna say because no one's really gonna know. I'm gonna say, but he told a story that a student that he admired.
I miss him.
I really miss him too. He told a story of a student that he really admired, and he believed, as he said, the student was a great student, did very well in classes and everything like that. He said that they were talking about weird subjects one day, and then he said that he told them a story one day. Yeah, I can't remember specific details. It was like 5-6 years ago since I remember the story. He was saying it was somewhere up north. This particular student was driving up north somewhere, and he was on a road in the middle of the woods somewhere in northern New Mexico, and he saw a naked old woman on the road. She was delirious. She was screaming. She was incomprehensible, babbling to herself, talking like fidgety. And he was like, "Oh, this woman she got like assaulted. She got lost or something. She could be having a mental episode.
Yeah.
She could have, something happened to her family and she's in a delirium, pleading for help or something like that, And he was like, he's like, okay, something's obviously wrong here. I'm trying to help this woman. And he stops and he's trying to get any information out of her. He's like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Anything like that. But she's delirious. She's speaking incoherently. He's saying nothing that she's saying is making any sense. So he calls the authorities, rightfully so.
Yeah.
The authorities say, okay, we know this woman. She's a paranoid schizophrenic. She has delusions in these episodes occasionally.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll wander out of the house. So we'll send a couple officers out there, and then we'll alert her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, so they know who it is. 10, 15 minutes show, cops arrive. They find the woman obviously still delirious. She's still like screaming incoherently. They put her in the back of a squad car. They contact her husband. And they say, hey, well, they talk to the students, they get all information. What happened?
Yeah.
And once they get the story right, they call her husband. Okay, let's call her husband. Let's get him out here to get her. Hey, we found her. They call the husband and say, hey, we found your wife. She sent her off. And then he said that the cop was told that the husband was very confused.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, oh, your wife has left. You're looking for your wife. We found her. We know where she's at. That's impossible. She's laying on my chest right now. She's asleep. So obviously there's a bit of confusion among the cops and the student. Okay, well, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
one of the cops goes to check on the lady, and she's gone from the back of the squad car in a locked squad car.
Mm-hmm.
Police cars in the back. They don't have. You cannot open it. Obviously, they don't want to people that are arrested getting out of the vehicles.
Yeah.
This door, it's closed, it's locked. She's gone. Completely gone.
Yeah.
And so that he 100% believes him. He believes his student. He 100% believes him.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that. Like, and just because I'm saying there's a lot of stories like that, that's not me saying I dispute any of the story you just told me. Like, it's just kind of fishy that a lot of people experience things like this
that are similar.
There's levity to this, and I don't know. Yeah, like that's the scary thing.
We're gonna have to censor another name real quick, but I'm gonna say do you remember Mr. S's story?
Oh yeah, he was cool.
Do you remember his story?
I don't remember his story.
Dude, that was one of the scariest stories I ever heard in my life.
Tell me about it. Side note, that was the class where we met.
Yeah, that was the class where we met.
Yeah. In high school.
In high school. What was it? It was like sixth period. Was it sixth period?
Sixth period, 10th grade.
U.S. history, I believe.
Yeah, U.S. history.
Yeah, we were annoying little shits back then. I'm gonna tell the story from what I remember because it was a long time since he told it. And if you remember, let me know. But Mr. did say before that he was like practicing to be like a priest.
Or I don't remember that.
Preacher. He did mention that.
Yeah.
He did mention it a couple times. Do you remember that or no?
Vaguely.
Yeah, he did mention something, just a little bit, but I remember he did mention that he was like a pastor. I was probably like a pastor talking, talking in church about God, about Christ. And he said that there was a story where he went out to Ruidoso with a few friends, and I think his sister-in-law, the sisters and sister-in-law, I believe. And it's been many years since I told what I remember from the story, but I'm gonna just say real quickly what I remember. I believe it was like either his sister or a friend of his sister or something, and she had her boyfriend along with them. It was like they're all staying in the cabin in Ruidoso. They had a huge argument, and the boyfriend leaves, and to clear his head. And they're saying some time passes before he like comes back, but they don't know where he's at. It's like it's a long time to the point that they actually get concerned to go out and look for him, and they're trying to figure out where he is. And they go out on like this dirt road, and they're looking for like a bit to find him. They find him on the road. He's delirious. He's inconsolable. He's crying. He's screaming, and they're asking him what's going on, and he's just incoherently talking to himself, and he's shaking like a leaf. He's white as a ghost, what Mr. C described. And he's saying that that it was a while before they can like talk to him about what it is. Eventually, time passes to where they kind of get it out, and the boyfriend apparently describes saying that he was walking down the road to go clear his head when he heard his mother calling from the woods. And he would follow the voice of his mom because he's like, why is my mom here? And he apparently got lost in the woods for a bit.
Wow.
Only to find a cloaked figure with a hood with his mother's face.
Jesus.
The boyfriend described walking up to the mother, obviously very confused as to what's going on. Only for it to point at him, and that he said that the arm looked like it was skinned. It was just muscle.
Yeah.
That it went and pointed at him. And then the boyfriend, inconsolable with fear, runs. And he's screaming and he gets lost in the woods. And he doesn't remember anything after that. I do remember this because the way that described it is very surreal, and especially this next part, saying that he prays over him. And that at this point he was going to be, I don't remember it being like just like a preacher, like a pastor. But he said he had holy water. He had his Bible. He had a like a rosary, of the cross on his
for
neck.
sure.
And then in his back pocket, he had his Bible with him,
Mhm.
and that he had just a little bit of holy water. And he's saying that he don't hey, let me pray for you. He prayed over the man, and he gave him the rosary. The boyfriend was saying that his hand was on fire with the rosary wrapped around his hand.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend kept on saying, "It burns, it burns." He threw a little bit of holy water on the boyfriend, and the boyfriend exclaiming that it was burning his skin. And he's saying that a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes goes on of just this continual thing where he ends the prayer and the boyfriend seems to calm down enough. This is where, and then this is like, they find a boyfriend and then they take him back to where I guess like to like where they were staying at in the cabin.
Mhm.
They were at one of the bottom decks that would lead up to the cabin. I should have explained that more. It was just a while ago. But that they were at like this bottom deck, down a flight of stairs into like a lower like deck area that they can hang out at, and that the cabin was next to a hill, and then from the cabin there's a flight of stairs that go down that hill. It's outside, and it leads to like a deck, like a patio, that they can hang out with. There's tables there, there's chairs.
Mhm.
They brought the boyfriend there when they found him. He said he was just on the side of the road, not far from the cabin, but he was off on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They brought him there. After things calmed down, Mrs. says that everybody starts to go up the stairs to take him inside. He's behind the boyfriend, just making sure he's okay. They go up the stairs and the boyfriend stops. And it says the boyfriend turns to the side, looking back out into the forest, and he's saying it's there. And Mr. says he turns around, that Mr. turns around, looks into the woods, down at the bottom of the hill behind the few trees. There's a cloaked figure looking at him from the trees.
Mhm.
And then it walks away.
Whoa.
And that's how the story ends.
That's crazy.
That
dude.
is freaky. And coming from teachers that I really admired and looked up to in class, those are horrific stories.
Yeah. Both those teachers were really
But
awesome.
it leads credence. What's the one common thing in those stories? Mimicry.
Yeah.
There's mimicry involved.
This all goes back to what we started with,
right?
the S word.
The S word. The jaywalkers.
The jaywalkers.
The jaywalkers. The brain eaters. The skin stealers.
Jaywalkers, that's a perfect thing.
We call them
That's the
jaywalkers.
perfect way to put it.
I hate those jaywalkers, dude.
Jaywalkers.
Yeah, but ooh, I got goosebumps.
I know.
Yeah, I remember hearing those stories. Oh man, those are freaky.
Yeah.
Like for the first time in school, when I heard that story, I left. I felt like pale.
Yeah.
I was pale. I was scared.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you remember the story or no?
I don't. I must have been absent or something that day because I don't remember
It was
that story.
it was like Halloween. Were you there or no?
I don't remember too well. Yeah, I don't remember hearing that, so I probably wasn't there.
Probably weren't there then.
Yeah. But
no, that is a story that he told. I 100% remember that. But that is a horrific story.
So, let me go to my notes here. We've talked about jaywalkers, Yaronas, chupacabras, and yeah.
Ooh, real quick.
Brujas.
A common like superstition, Native American superstition.
Yeah, what is it? No, I'm kidding.
Whistling at night. You heard about that?
Yes.
That shtick.
And I have an idea about this because we talked about this not too long ago.
Yeah. What is it?
So the whistle. So let me set the scene. Let's say you're walking in the wilderness very late at night, walking home from
the woods.
Walking out in the woods by the river.
Walking in the woods.
Walking in the woods.
All by myself.
I'm just walking in the woods all by myself. Okay. So you're out by the woods and then you hear whistling.
Okay. Am I drunk or am I sober?
You're completely stone cold sober.
Okay. Lame.
What do you think? Who do you think that is when you're out walking in the woods and you hear whistling that isn't yours?
Who's that one guy who made that one song?
Jake Paul.
Like whistle? Like, can you blow my whistle? That's
the... What's his name?
Is it Flo Rida?
The FNAF guy?
No.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. He didn't make that song, but there's that meme. Editor. Okay. So yeah, the whistling. So anyways, who do you think that is?
Hey, Jamie, pull that shit up.
Jamie, pull that shit up.
Jamie,
AKA Floyd, pull that shit up. Future Floyd.
Joe Rogan. We gotta take peyote with Joe Rogan.
Peyote with Joe
Yeah.
Rogan?
Go Bigfoot hunting with Joe Rogan on peyote.
Someday. So anyway, whistling at night.
At night.
That's a big thing, apparently.
That's a big thing.
So if you hear whistling at night, you gotta assume it's not a person sometimes.
Essentially, according to, I could be getting things wrong. Please, comments correct me if I am wrong. But there's a belief that when night is set upon the world, spirits come to roam out.
Yeah.
This is their time to come out.
Similar to the saying, when night falls, the monsters come out to play.
Right?
Yep.
Essentially, just like spirits from Native American, spirits of the earth coming out at night, is their time to come out.
Yeah.
Like how we go to bed, it's their time. And that whistling is a bit of a big offense to them.
Yeah.
And could be luring them and things to you. Whistle at night.
There's another thing, another story, not story, but you know what I mean, that says like you shouldn't whistle yourself when you're out at night. If you're outside at night, don't whistle, or else you'll attract these spirits. And one of the spirits you don't want to attract is a specific one. Not necessarily a spirit. This goes back to brujas, la lechuza, what we were talking about earlier. Supposedly they say if you hear whistling at night, it could be the lechuza, right?
It's, from what I heard, is whistling at night and the sounds of a baby crying when it comes to lechuzas.
Yeah.
And that is pretty horrific. Lechuzas, again, with brujas, they've been described. Lechuza describes owl.
Yeah.
But when people refer to La Lechuza, would be like a bird witch. The common description is that people would say that a La Lechuza would be a bird woman with feathers, wrinkly skin, and
most of the time with a woman face.
A woman face. It's like a bird lady.
Sometimes it's distorted or like
the most common.
Like it's a woman face with a beak for a mouth or something like that.
That's what I've heard, or just like a gaping hole.
Mm-hmm.
The most common
black eyes.
On the black eyes part is the most common description is actually the lack of eyes.
Lack of eyes.
It's just it's just a crater. It's just holes where the eyes should have been. There's a story, I do not remember, but I think it was San Jose, California, I believe. Apparently 2 officers in the middle of the night, 1 hour or more between each other. I could be getting details wrong. I tried to search up the story, it lost me. But I remember seeing like a news thing about it. The first officer apparently reported that he was doing a random patrol when something was in the trees, in the overhead trees above his car, and that he shined a spotlight on it, saying that it was a woman with like dirty, torn clothes, with her arms were apparently like wings. She had this long, dirty, white hair, and that he said the one thing that she did not have any eyes. And she was looking right at him, and he said it was just pure hatred that he felt from it. And it was looking at him, and that it jumped and flew over his vehicle. Reportedly, I don't remember if it was anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour later, another cop in the same area reported that something landed in front of his car. He said there was an old woman with feathers without any eyes. That was right there looking at him, apparently screaming at him, and that she jumped into the sky or something like that.
Yeah.
But two descriptions of a very, very similar being in an hour or less in San Jose, California, in the roughly same area.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty scary story from 2 officers too.
Dang, dude.
That's pretty freaky.
I
I don't know what it
remember.
is, but like having the description of like either black eyes or no eyes at all, just craters.
Yeah,
That's horrific. That's like that's creepy. That's really creepy.
I think the whole thing with eyes is that they're
Windows to the soul.
windows to the soul, and when there aren't eyes,
Black eyes or aren't eyes,
black eyes or no eyes, like
there's nothing left,
there is no soul.
or there's something else that's there.
Yeah, something else we don't know.
Something evil.
And when we don't know something, that's when we fear it.
And that's when we go into the unknown. Ooh.
Sorry.
You good there, buddy? I think you got a little too excited. But that is a very scary story. And the Choose is one that we talked about for years, too.
Oh, no, we've always talked about that.
When we were in
yeah.
school, too. We talked
Even
about
in school, yeah. There's quite a bit of monsters. Well, not monsters, but just like things that are in this state that people don't like to talk about.
Not just in state, but in the surrounding states.
In the surrounding states as well.
There's been jaywalker sightings,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
in Nevada, in Arizona,
Colorado,
in Colorado, apparently some places in the east as well,
I guess.
north.
People from up east, they know about skinwalkers and stuff. I've heard some things.
Jaywalkers, and it's a very, very common or very popular and notorious legend. It's one that a lot of people fear.
Mm.
You know,
I have this little article here about a little New Mexican folklore. There's this one that I've never heard of. It's called La Marogra.
Malogra.
Malogra.
Let me see.
Malogra. Malogra.
Malogra.
Yeah.
And what is that?
So,
Yeah.
New Mexicans often think the release of the cottonwood seeds is evil, if only because the pollen aggravates their allergies. But in New Mexican folklore, these seeds become a legendary creature, La Malogra. It's said to be made of cottonwood fluff that gathers into a ball that rolls through the forest. It's said to smother any children it finds out at night, which is reason enough for kids to stay safely tucked into bed.
So allergies.
That just sounds like a bedtime story.
So allergies.
Yeah. So that one's not quite scary.
Nah.
But this next one is one I have familiar with, El Coco. Equivalent to the boogeyman, El Coco is a formidable figure because it's said to kidnap children. Once they are spirited away, many tales say El Coco devours them, but well-behaving children need not fear. El Coco only seeks children who misbehave and don't obey their parents. Several 17th century nursery rhymes describe El Coco as a lurking shadow outside children's windows that instructs them to go to sleep. Let's see. But yeah, that's one I kind of have familiarity with.
You did explain the story, but how about you explain it to our audience real quick?
Yes. I first heard about the El Coco when I was I said the El.
The
El Coco. I first held about
the El Coco.
Sorry guys, I'm having my Joe Biden moments here.
Yeah.
El Coco.
Alzheimer's.
My dad would call him the Coco Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially a boogeyman. There's even where I'm from in Espanola, there's a liquor store called the Coco Man, which is kind of funny. And my dad told me a story about this thing, and he even had a little song for it too.
Let's hear it.
And mind you, this isn't like a real thing. This is something my dad like kind of made up by himself using a military song. So here's how it goes. I'm trying to remember it. Down by the river, we went for a walk. We ran into Coco. We had a little talk. And so we punched him and kicked him and threw him in the river. He left as he cried, "Ha ha! No more Cocos hanging around." That's it. He essentially made that song to tell me to not be afraid of it, you know? Like he said, you need to be strong and not be afraid of this thing. Sabas has something to say.
So assault is what the song is about. So
It's an
assault.
evil creature. It's okay
So-
to do that.
I don't know. He could be misunderstood. You just kicked some random homeless guy's ass. Like, how does that make you feel?
He's misunderstood like the Ice King.
Dude, you're an asshole. You're just killing like random creatures. He could be a nice guy.
He very well could be.
He could be invested in crypto or something. He could have helped you with that. You know, he could have gotten you rich. He could have helped you out. And instead, you beat the shit out of him. How does that make you feel? You piece of shit.
I'll tell you what. I don't feel bad. I like everyone and everything. I don't like boogeymen.
It could have been nice.
I don't
It
like.
could have been like the Grinch. You could have turned, like.
I don't like Grinches. I don't like boogeyman creeping in to my house.
You sound like a racist. I don't like those damn Grinches.
I don't like these Grinches stealing our presents. These cocoa men
Preach.
hanging out by the rivers ruin our good times and dreams.
Good.
Tell you what, man.
Good southern drawl here.
So, anyways,
Would you say that you're from Louisiana?
I tell you what, baby. Stroke.
I think I had a stroke listening to that. Just hearing all that.
So, I don't necessarily know what the Cocoa Man is supposed to look like, but I don't know. My dad said that he supposedly I saw one at one point because there was this one time where my dad and I were downtown, in downtown Santa Fe, just checking things out, hanging out, checking it out, and we're driving through the downtown area, and we saw a man in a cape walking in an alleyway. I pointed him out to my dad. I said, "Dad, look, there's a man in a cape walking down this awesome, beautiful alleyway that isn't covered in graffiti and piss."
Standard New Mexico alleyway. Go on.
And then he said, "That's no man. That's a Death Star. I mean, that's a Cocoa Man.
That's a Death Star? Is that what you're going with?
That's no moon."
That's no moon. That's a Death Star.
So he said, "That's no man. That's a Death Star."
So, bruh.
That was unintentional.
So it's a Sith Lord.
It's a Sith Lord. He said, "That's the Cocoa Man." He said, like, "Don't make fun of it." And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then eventually he made a passing comment about the cape or something. And then the next day, my dad, we were watching Sunday football, and there was this commercial of a man doing a dance called the cold cut dance. He goes, "Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts," and he does a little dance. My dad, he loved that commercial.
No, 24, baby, that's
Yeah.
me.
He's at
cold
Deli.
cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
My dad was all, my dad had a couple beers and he was like, "That commercial's so funny." He got up and started doing the dance. So "Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts," and then he fell over and broke his foot. He tripped and broke his foot. The ambulance came to get him.
Fucking Coco Man, dude. He did
And
it.
you know what
He orchestrated it.
you know what my dad told me when they were taking him away? He said, "The Cocoa Man did this."
No.
Because I made fun of his
The
cape.
Coco Man jumped him.
I made fun of his cape. He did this to me.
What if it was just Batman in the alleyway, just trying to, some criminals to beat the shit out of?
He could have been.
The Mexico Batman.
So, but other than that, like, that's just a dumb story. But my dad would tell me stories about this all the time. He said, "This was my Llorona, like the Coco." He would say, like, "Oh, don't be bad, or else El Coco will come get you." And
That's
all
a very interesting one.
that. That's essentially another boogeyman
Just a
story.
boogeyman, probably just another, tall tale. Hey, watch out,
But one I had to bring up because it's personal to me.
Yeah.
And then this last one on this list is one I've never heard. Well, I've heard about it, but I've never heard the whole story about it. The Thunderbird.
I've heard of the Thunderbird.
Okay.
This is a Native American legend, I believe.
Let me botch this description real quick.
Let's hear it.
The Thunderbird is a legendary creature in many indigenous cultures. These supernatural beings who ruled the skies become a modern-day urban legend when the story collides with observable facts. Territorns, or prehistoric birds that were ancestors of today's vultures, once flew over New Mexico. Their skeletons measure wingspans of 20 feet, and they are thought to have weighed more than 100 pounds. The bird flew during the late Oligocene and late Pleistocene eras. I botched those two words.
I could probably read that.
And it's assumed to be extinct. However, witnesses reported seeing birds flying over the land of enchantment until the 1800s. Some even say that they've seen extraordinary birds in the Doña Ana Mountains outside Las Cruces today.
I have heard of the stories of like in New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, northern Texas, of stories of giant birds,
Yeah.
and they were like they said that that their wing flaps like they would sound like a thunder clapping when they would like massive animals.
Mm.
And those are the stories that I've heard about thunderbirds. But there it's funny because I've heard other stories of people saying, oh, they've seen like what they described as like a pterosaur.
Yeah.
And dinosaurs from like the Cretaceous period, all those other ones that have had. I know my brother's gonna like kill me in the comments. No, that's not how this works. That's the wrong time period. It was actually in the late Triassic. I'm like, oh,
He's probably gonna kill me for ruining those 2 era names.
oh, definitely. He's gonna crucify us. But hey,
I didn't know how to pronounce those for shit. Then again, I did botch that whole.
It's funny. I'm a nerd. Like I was getting ticked off. I'm like, yeah, I think he's saying it wrong.
Yeah. Here, let's see if you could say it real
Let's
quick.
see if I can actually. Yeah.
But they're pretty hard words.
There is
here's this first one.
Right after this one, there's some other one that I do want to mention. I think Oligocene, Pleistocene.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Okay. So I just read them completely wrong.
Yeah, or I could be wrong.
I don't know. But yeah,
that is very interesting because I remember one of the first cryptids, aside from Chupacabra, growing up listening that I've heard, from the internet and stuff like that. It was that one and the Thunderbird.
Yeah,
it was the stories that I remember hearing. Oh, that's cool.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, real quick. So these birds, like roaming around today, like they're prehistoric birds that still roam around today, possibly. That reminds me of Loch Ness Monster.
Why?
Because that's what Loch Ness Monster essentially is. It's a prehistoric animal that still roams in the lakes and stuff. So
I was going to say we should dedicate an episode to lake, river, and ocean monsters and mysteries and stuff like that.
Or we'll just upload a full episodes of River Monsters.
Yeah, dude, Jeremy Way is such a badass.
That's actually
don't get me started. I'm going to go into a tangent. Do you want to know why the show ended?
Why?
Because he caught every fucking legend out there, dude.
He's all the monsters.
Such a badass, dude. Oh my gosh.
I've actually never watched the show before, but I caught it the other day and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Dude, come over sometime, like we'll like hang out. We'll
River Monster Marathon.
Get drunk and do like a River Monster Marathon, dude. We will love it. You'll love it. You'll love it. I love that show. It's such an awesome show.
But
anyway, British men and River Monsters.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you wanted to bring up next? Oh yeah.
What I wanted to bring up next was Legends of Bigfoot. Very, very common.
Oh yeah.
Very common stories. But recently, for the past 3 years, I've been hearing stories of Bigfoot sightings in Jemez, a spot that I like to go up to occasionally just to go check out, drive around there. It's very peaceful. Yeah. Stories of Bigfoot sightings in Jemez. And apparently, I think in 2022, there's apparently a video that was surfacing of some dude seeing a Bigfoot off the side of the road in New Mexico, here in New Mexico. Oh. And I saw the video. There's just like a figure, like a big burly, hairy figure in the distance running through like the trees or something like that. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Bigfoot said, dude, we have to go Bigfoot hunting. Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll do a whole vlog where we go Bigfoot hunting.
We'll take my shitty Hyundai and we'll drive up there. My car is not meant to be on the gravel and like the dirt. See how it holds up. You think we'll die? You think we'll die?
We could, but probably that'd be good publicity.
Yeah, if I see like a Bigfoot on the road, I'm gonna like ram it.
Why,
dude? We're
Why
Bigfoot.
Would you do that?
We're Bigfoot hunting. What do you mean? We gotta make sure these things exist.
They're giant apes essentially. It could be peaceful.
How do you know?
Look at gorillas.
The stories of violent Bigfoot. Yeah, have you seen chimps?
Chimps are.
Yeah, have you seen chimps?
Chimps are evil.
Yeah,
chimps.
Yeah, how do you know Bigfoot's not evil?
Chimps are evil little bastards, but.
Dude, just ran my car into Bigfoot. It's like hitting a California redwood. We're like ejected from the seats. Like shit. That didn't work out.
All right. What would you do? I have a little thing for you, a little situation, a little hypothetical.
Okay.
Let's say you're out in one of the bosque trails around here. You're walking, you're enjoying your time. It's like 5 o'clock. You're having a good time, listening to Kanye West, Daft Punk, whatever.
Which song specifically?
You're listening to
Welcome to Heartbreak is a good one.
We're listening to Runaway, enjoying you're reflecting on life, listening to Runaway.
Is that a Kanye West song?
And I always find something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. You're listening to that, reflecting on good times.
I have a very, very quick question for you. Who was in Paris?
nice men.
Good.
So yeah, you're doing that, and then you hear a howl, and you're like, "What's that?" You take off your Beats by Dr. Dre,
By specifically Beats by Dr. Dre. Yeah.
and then you see like chimp feet hanging in, and then a chimp drops down from the trees, and it looks at you.
So not a Bigfoot, just a full
A chimp,
a fucking chimp.
a chimpanzee, and it looks up at you, and it does like a devious little smile.
So is the river right next to me? Those fuckers can't swim.
No, you're like by the end of the.
Damn.
You're like walking out of the trail. Walking out of the river to the parking lot.
Am I wearing my 40-pound tannerite vest or no?
No, you're just in your regular Sabas attire.
I could blow myself up.
Casual Sabas attire.
Damn. It's naked. But I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm screwed.
But it's doing a smile. You don't know its intentions yet.
Yeah, do you know what a smile means?
It could mean
for like apes and like
for apes, I don't know.
For like apes,
means.
like chimps and gorillas, smiling, showing your teeth is a sign of aggression.
Oh, well, yeah, showing your teeth.
Yeah, so that fucker wants me dead, pretty much. That's what's going on.
What if it holds its arm out to you?
Oh yeah, nah. He can go F himself. I'm not gonna go talk.
But what are you gonna do? You can't run away.
I'm just gonna walk away.
No, that thing's gonna chase you.
If I calmly walk away, okay. Am I gonna get like my lower jaw ripped off? What's going on?
I don't know.
Dude, he's gonna fold me like clean laundry either way. What do you want me to do in this
I love
situation?
that term.
What do you want
like
me to
clean laundry?
Yeah, exactly. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Treat it with respect.
How?
Smile back. What do you think it'll do?
Tell him that he has some good teeth. He's probably gonna
blow a kiss at it.
Probably gonna punch me. That's all I'm like.
What if he just wants to hug you?
Dude, if a chimp wants to hug me, I would probably give him a hug. That would be awesome.
What if it's
I do actually like monkeys and chimps, but chimps are if it's a bonobo.
Bonobos
I'm gonna give that dude a hug. But
yeah, bonobos are cool.
Bonobos are technically hippie versions of chimps.
Yeah,
they don't have them in zoos because they have sex all the time.
Yeah,
but anywho,
I thought bonobos have like wars and stuff. Like
no, those are chimps, dude. Chimps.
Okay.
Dude, the chimps have gang wars.
Yeah,
dude.
they do.
That shit's insane.
If I ran into a gorilla in the bosque, I would be pretty like, I would be kind of scared at first, but I would try.
Galera. So the thing is with the gorillas, they're more noble.
They're peaceful.
They're more
unless you mess with them.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're really, they apparently like they won't like really like hurt like a defenseless animal. So you got to just be lower than them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of just go on the ground. You know?
Yeah.
Just don't be aggressive. You know.
Yeah.
Gorillas are pretty sick.
What if you give a gorilla? What if you have like a fruit or something like, and you offer it to the gorilla? Will it be cool?
Maybe. But if I ever get into trouble, I can just call them the gorillas. You know,
I don't think they would attack. I don't think a gorilla. I don't think a gorilla would attack you like right away though.
Oh, probably not. No, unless you're a direct threat.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're being an asshole, then probably. You know. But that'd be a pretty funny context. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pissed off a gorilla. Okay, but yeah, bosque, you know, chimp. Yeah, it's gonna be in the news the next day, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's completely possible. You never know if a chimp could escape the zoo or something. Right. I don't know. You never hear.
This is one thing. Have you ever heard about that one show called Monster Quest?
Yes.
Ever heard about that? They did like an episode about like chimps in like the woods, just in Florida Everglades or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's stories of devil monkeys too. Have you heard of the devil monkey story?
Mm-hmm.
Those are insane.
They are.
Probably get into more. Well, we have to research more about them. Get into more depth about that.
All in good time, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, going back to what we were talking about, Hemmes and Bigfoot.
Yes.
Who was it that said that? Apparently, not only Bigfoot sightings in Hemmes, but apparently there has been reported in the woods, especially in the northern regions, that there's been reported like ghost sightings.
Oh no, that's been a thing for years.
Phantom sightings, right?
That's been a big thing for years because I've gone to Hemmes all my life. Like, there's always been stories about Hemmes. Like, there's even like government conspiracy stories about Hemmes too. Like,
I heard about the Los Alamos, the underbase.
Oh yeah,
the underground base with the aliens.
For sure, yeah.
That's a very popular thing.
I come from a military family, so of course I've heard about that.
So you're a government agent, is what you're saying?
No.
Damn. Are you ATF?
ATF.
Yeah.
At the food court?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, I believe. I think it's something else.
Oh.
restrictions and all that.
The DEA.
They like shooting dogs.
What kind of man talks to the DEA?
No man. No man at all.
Look at me, Hector.
Last chance to look at me, Hector.
Last chance to kiss.
If Jean last chance to kiss me.
Last chance to kiss me, Hector.
If Giancarlo Esposito wants to come on this podcast, dude, we will so let him.
I love Giancarlo.
Giancarlo, we're huge fans of you. If you're listening to his podcast,
if you somehow hear this, I would want you to come over here because you've been down here to Albuquerque. So
I just want a hug.
I'm assuming you know the place, so please come down here and we'll buy you dinner and a drink.
Will it be like a candlelit dinner? Will it be like a McDonald's dinner?
We'll take you to Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. That's what's cool.
But yeah,
hauntings in the woods. I think is something. It's creepier than
a
typical haunted house.
In the woods,
you're out of the house. You're out of the house. In the woods, there's nowhere to go.
Exactly.
And we're gonna blur his name out, but remember what he said one time that his grandmother told him that apparently she owns land out there or something in Hemis.
In Hemis?
He mentioned something like that.
Was this when we were hanging out with him, or was this another time?
Yeah, when we hung out with him.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
He mentioned something about like his grandmother saying that weird stuff all the time happens in Hemis.
Mm-hmm.
Lights in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Figures in the woods. Not just in Hemis, but in the woods. People reported like voices and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but that is scary. It's scary to think about, you know?
It is, yeah. Okay. I may have mentioned this before. There was one time when my dad went hunting out in Hemis. And there was a couple times we went hunting out in Hemis. I'll breeze through these real quick. So there was the first time he told me he went out hunting. And he was out there with a friend. They had a fireplace. They were having a few beers, so maybe that lends into this. But when they went...
They had ayahuasca.
Maybe. But they saw people flying over them, like in the night. They looked up into the night sky while they had their fire.
What figures in the sky?
They saw figures in the sky, like dark figures in the sky, like flying over, like hovering over them and stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah. And then there was this other instance where my dad went out there by himself, just like, I guess, camping or something. I don't know. And he was sleeping in his truck.
Oh, I think I heard about this story.
Yeah. And then something approached the truck. Like he heard like footsteps coming towards him. And it was like a hooded, he could like something was walking towards the truck and he like looked from the corner of his eye and he vaguely saw like a hooded figure like watching him. And like, yeah, it was just looking at him and then it walked away. But Hemis is a pretty freaky place, dude.
You think it's just tainted ground, you know?
Tainted ground, yeah. That's
like
what
a lot of the Indian tribes that were misplaced and forced to walk on the Trail of Tears, from the areas that they were from before. These lands over here was where they were dumped at.
Yeah,
New Mexico, reminds me of Arizona. These dry land. That's where they were dumped at.
Santa Fe. Santa Fe is one of the biggest examples. Like downtown Santa Fe, very historical. A lot of bloodshed in that area. So
same with Albuquerque.
Like Old Town Albuquerque. A lot of bloodshed in New Mexico and
apparently
just all across America.
Apparently, like Albuquerque was one of the last places to like actually become modernized. Like like when people were like when a lot of states were becoming more like social, like cities, all that, be lively. Here was still the Wild West. They were still doing duels and all that.
Oh yeah, I remember going to a museum in downtown Santa Fe. I remember just feeling super uncomfortable there, like I shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Like, that was the same day we saw the Coco, mind you.
Really? That is interesting.
Yeah, I was in the museum. I had gotten separated from my dad and my sisters, and I was just walking around the empty... It was like there was no one in the area I was in the museum. This wasn't just me feeling, like, scared. Like, it was a museum. I should feel safe there. It's a public place. But there was no one there. And I felt like something was watching me, something other than security cameras. And I felt like something was near me, like right next to me. This is probably just, I don't know, like old downtown Santa Fe. It's just
there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. Remember Old Town New Mexico?
You feel the history.
Yeah, you do. I love history. I'm a huge history nut. I love science. I think I got more of my science from my mom. and my history from my dad.
Yeah,
I love history,
me too.
and it's very interesting to hear about. But remember, the ghost tours that we would go
Yeah.
on in Old Town, those are very interesting. Those legends as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
little girl
think-
sightings, the sighting of a Confederate soldier in Old Town Plaza, the crying nun,
oh yeah,
sightings of a prostitute, apparently a lady of the night,
yeah.
who was slain. Sounds of voices and all that, things just kind of going missing.
Mm-hmm.
They describe weird EVPs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They said in Old Town is very interesting. A lot of history.
We'll definitely get into like ghost stories in the future.
Yeah.
And more, and I think we'll get into history
Mm-hmm.
in the next episode.
Oh, definitely. I think so. I agree.
And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it for this
This episode
reboot.
of Into the Unknown with
Floyd Atencio
and Sabas and I think this will be a great spot to leave off. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Explore the unknown and open your mind, people.
And if you see Bigfoot, tell him that he owes us. Okay.
You interrupted my tagline, dude. I just
Okay.
created that on the spot.
What was your tagline?
Explore the unknown and open your mind, people. Have a good night.
Like LSD.
Heck yeah.
Do drugs. Don't actually.
Do it.
Do it. It's fun.